guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. So today I'm going to read you Daisy and the Trouble with Zoos, Chapter 11 in Chapter 12. Chapter 11. The trouble with putting birthday candles on a chocolate mini roll is it's really hard to fit 7 candles on. Even 5 is hard. Plus, when you stick the candles in, the chocolate on the outside starts to break off. Mom said I might have to settle for 1 candle instead of 7, but I said I wanted 7 candles. Otherwise, people might think I was 1, which is a baby. The trouble with trying to light 7 candles on a mini roll after you'd managed to fit them on is the wind keeps blowing them out before you get a chance to blow, or even huff or sing happy birthday, which is really a nuisance. Plus, the candles go wonky. Then the chocolate starts to melt. Then the mini roll goes sticky, which is alright if you're the one who's holding it because then you get to lick the chocolate off your fingers. But if your mom is holding it, then she gets to lick her fingers instead, which isn't fair because it's not her mini roll in the first place. It's mine, so I should be the one that gets to lick the chocolate off. Mom said if I didn't stop moaning about melted chocolate, she would feed all her mini rolls to the monkeys, which was a lie because if she did, there would be a stampede, which would be her fault, not mine. Then she'd get into trouble, not me. And anyway, the wind suddenly stopped blowing. Quick, 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 said Mom, blow, blow, blow. So I did. After I'd blown out my candles, Mom, Gabby, and Dylan sang happy birthday, and then Mom gave them each a mini roll too, but not with candles because it wasn't their birthday. Plus, theirs weren't sticky. When I asked my mom if I could have one that wasn't sticky as well, she said 1 mini roll was enough. And if I ate too many mini rolls, the zookeeper would think I was an elephant. Which isn't true either, because I haven't got a trunk or massive teeth. Anyway, there weren't any more mini rolls left, so we had apples. The trouble with apples is I had one with a maggot in once. It came off a tree in my nanny and Grampy's garden. Luckily, it didn't bite through the maggot. I only bit through its hole. But it still wasn't very nice. I do still like apples because they're juicy, but I always double check for maggot holes before I eat one now. Especially if I'm at my nanny and Grampy's house. When we'd finished our apples, Mom looked at her watch and then put all our rubbish into a bag. I think we should make our way over in the direction of the penguins, don't you, Daisy? Smiled Mom. Yes, 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 said me. Chapter 12. The trouble with zoo bins is sometimes they get really full. We had to really squeeze our apple cores in to stop them from falling back out onto the ground. But then Gabby's fell out again. And then Dylan's fell out when Gabby put hers back in. So in the end, Mom put all our apple cores back in the bag and said she would take our rubbish home. After we'd visited the litter bin, we went to look at the meerkats. The trouble with meerkats is watch out if you're a scorpion or a snake. Because if a meerkat catches you, it'll gobble you up. Lots of people had adopted the meerkats. That's because meerkats are really good. It said on the sign next to the adopting place that meerkats are immune to deadly poison. That means that even if a snake bites and bites and bites them, or a scorpion stings and stings and stings them, the meerkat will just eat the snakes or scorpion anyway, without being poisoned or even getting a tummy ache. Dylan said he wouldn't let a meerkat anywhere near the snake tank in his bedroom, and Gabby wondered whether meerkats could eat swede without dying too. The next sign we saw was for the pygmy goats. The trouble with pygmy goats is their poos look like currants, which could be really dangerous if you were making cakes in the zoo. Dylan said he didn't think zoos made cakes in case of the stampedes, so we were probably safe. But Gabby said that in future, if she ever went into a zoo shop to buy something to eat, she would never buy a currant cake in case it had a pygmy goat poo in it. In fact, just to be totally safe, she was going to totally stick to ice creams. The trouble with ice creams is it's really hard to get your mom to buy you one when it's March, especially if you've already had mini rolls and lemonade. Mom said it was too cold for ice creams, and anyway, we'd all had a birthday zoo lunch. The trouble with birthday zoo lunches is they really make you need an ice cream, especially my birthday zoo lunches. It took me about 10 minutes to persuade Mom that we all really needed ice creams. At first, she wouldn't listen, but in the end, she did a big sigh, and she said we just had time to go to buy some before we went to the Penguins. The trouble with ice cream cabinets in zoo shops on March 3rd is there aren't any ice creams in them. There isn't anything in them at all, apart from cold air. The lady behind the counter said ice creams were out of season and they wouldn't be getting any in until Easter. So we had to have sweets instead. The trouble with sweets is you're not allowed to feed them to the animals. I saw some white-nosed coyotes who really looked like they wanted a Tic Tac, but Mom said all the animals in the zoo were on carefully controlled diets that didn't include Tic Tacs, refreshers, or Hubba Bubba bubblegum. I said if they liked fruit, they were bound to like strawberry Hubba Bubba. That Mom gave me one of her looks and said if we couldn't control our sweets, then we would have to put them in her handbag for safekeeping. Then she looked at her watch. It was time to feed the penguins. Well, that's the end of this channel. I hope you enjoyed my readings of it, and if you did, please click many likes and subscribe Reading Club. So I'll come back later with a new and improved channel. Bye, everybody!